television spin-offs are tricky. They can either deepen the world we've grown to love or wander so far from the original that they feel like a distant cousin twice removed. But Georgie and Mandy's first marriage has managed to do something rare: expand the young Sheldon universe while delivering moments that strike a chord with longtime fans. And in Season 2, Episode 3, a subtle Easter egg has done just that, stirring up emotions and memories in a way only a show steeped in character history can. For fans of young Sheldon, this wasn't just another episode. It was a portal, a gentle tug at the heartstrings, a moment of quiet brilliance tucked within a show about young parenthood, marital hiccups, and Texas-sized personalities. The Easter egg, it wasn't flashy. It wasn't announced with fanfare. It was emotional in its simplicity and in the way it connected past, present, and future. The scene that sparked 1,000 feelings. Let's set the stage. It's a quiet moment near the middle of the episode. Georgie, now a father, is trying to fix an old baby monitor that's been giving static-filled readings. He's in the garage, a bit frustrated, fiddling with wires like he's done 100 times before. Mandy walks in, holding their baby, and jokingly tells him he's going to fry the house if he keeps messing with it. And then he says it. "Dad used to fix things like this. I wish he could see cease." Just like that, the air shifts. For a second, it's not just about baby monitors or parenting stress. It's about grief, about legacy, about the pieces of Sheldon Cooper's childhood that we, as an audience, already know are fragile. But here, where the Easter egg blooms, Georgie goes to an old toolbox, opens a drawer, pulls out a screwdriver, not just any screwdriver, but one with GC engraved faintly on the handle. It's his father's, George Cooper SR.S., the same one that appeared in young Sheldon during a Season 5 episode where George taught Sheldon how to fix a broken radio. It was the last father-son bonding moment before George's unexpected death. For longtime fans of the young Sheldon timeline, that tool isn't just a prop, it's a relic. It's grief, love, and memory forged into steel. And in Georgie and Mandy, it now lives on, passed from father to son to grandson. A literal and emotional tool of legacy. The weight of small things. That's the power of a well-placed Easter egg, not to scream at you, but to whisper, "Remember this," to reward viewers who have grown with the characters. Because in the broader scope of the Cooper family saga, George S.R.'s death cast a long shadow. One that lingered over Sheldon's awkward genius, Mary's devoutness, Missy's rebellion, and most certainly, Georgie's maturing path. When young Sheldon aired, viewers were given a more nuanced, loving portrayal of George Cooper SR than The Big Bang Theory ever hinted at. He wasn't just the alcoholic, inattentive father-adult Sheldon vaguely remembered. He was complex, caring, flawed, and very real. His death hurt, not just the characters, but us. So when Georgie, now a father himself, handles that same screwdriver, it's a full-circle moment. It says, "I remember him, I miss him, and I'm trying to be better because of him." And that hits like a truck full of Texas sweet tea. Why it matters more than you think. It would be easy for Georgie and Mandy's first marriage to stand alone, a quirky family comedy about a mismatched couple raising a child. But it chooses to reach deeper. It doesn't forget its roots. And more importantly, it doesn't ask us to forget them either. This episode reminds us that Georgie, despite his teen dad beginnings and occasional boneheaded decisions, has heart. He has memory. He has a past shaped by loss and love, and he's trying in his own way to carry that forward. For fans who watched young Sheldon knowing what lay ahead, that George SR wouldn't see his kids grow up, that Sheldon would lose his anchor far too soon, this small moment lands like a sledgehammer of sentiment. It validates that grief doesn't vanish, that people live on through the things they fixed, the tools they left behind, and the love they instilled. A legacy carried quietly. The brilliance of this Easter egg isn't just nostalgia. It's how it deepens Georgie's character. It reframes him not just as the comic relief or the lovable underachiever, but as someone shaped by loss. Someone who's choosing to remember, choosing to pass something on. There's a quiet poetry in that, in how the screwdriver isn't treated with fanfare, just used, handled, trusted. Much like how George SR memory threads through the Cooper family, not in grand speeches, but in the everyday, fixing something, remembering a phrase, wanting to do better for your child because you knew what it was like to lose a parent too early. For the fans who know, the emotional payoff here only works if you know the history. If you remember that fateful episode in young Sheldon when George Sr. died suddenly and how the family staggered under the weight of it. If you recall Sheldon's stunned silence, Missy's heartbreak, Georgie's anger. That's what makes this moment hit so hard. Because it's not just a screwdriver. It's George Sr. watching over them. It's young Sheldon bleeding into Georgie and Mandy in the most human way possible, not through time travel or flashbacks, but through memory. And maybe that's the truest way to honor a character, not with a statue, but with a tool still being used. A father's initials scratched into metal, a son remembering, a new father learning. Conclusion: when a sitcom becomes a love letter. At its core, Season 2, Episode 3 of Georgie and Mandy isn't about the Easter egg. It's about what it means. It's about how stories continue, how love lingers, how grief doesn't just disappear but becomes part of how we parent, how we fix, how we love. And in that tiny moment, with that old screwdriver, Georgie and Mandy reminded us of the heart that made young Sheldon so beloved. It made us feel, not with a bang, but with a whisper. And for those who have followed this family from Texas living rooms to Pasadena labs, that whisper means everything.